How's that? Am I back? Am I better? Have we got sound? How are we doing? Yeah? Yeah. Hey, thank you, On It Squad. Thank you very much. That was great. I must have just pulled out the cable. There we go. I did an awesome intro as well. It was magical. It was wonderful. Now I've forgotten it. I think I said hello. My name is Gavin Strange. I hope you're all good. Thank you very much for tuning in on this Thursday, the whatever it is of September. I hope you're all good in the chat. It's nice to see you all here. Hopefully you're having a nice, mellow Thursday lunchtime, whatever time it may be where you are. I am very excited. I managed to pre-order a PlayStation 5 at silly o'clock this morning because a friend told me that they were live, and I got really excited and managed to bag one. So I'm just really buzzing about that. I don't know why, because I don't have any time to play games consoles at all. None. So I don't really know why I do it, but it's just exciting. So yeah, so I'm very excited to join the world of PlayStation 5. So that's my exciting news for the day. Norma Studio is in Tasmania, Australia. Oh, I didn't know you were all the way over in Australia. Thank you for joining, Norma Studio. 10 p.m. Oh, so it's a nice Thursday evening for you. I hope you've had a lovely day. So thank you to everyone for tuning in around the world. It's always very, very exciting. And today I want to talk about Do Fly, which is a book that I had the privilege of writing back in 2017, and it's a project that just was such an absolute joy from start to finish. And I just kind of want to share all of the creative process behind all of it, really, because it very much sort of feeds into the whole ethos of the book, is trying to sort of be a useful pocket guide to making things happen, I guess. It's called Do Fly, you know, to sort of to be your best self and to try and do the things that you really want to do, but in a really realistic way. I'm hopefully not trying to offer sort of floaty nonsensical advice. Hopefully they're practical examples of you know, just different ways to apply yourself and different ways to apply yourself to the industries that you want to get into, and you know, make progression through that. And I feel so fortunate that I have a dream job that I love, but I can sort of plot how and why that happened through the different choices that I made. Sometimes that were conscious, sometimes they were not, but you know, always trying to sort of go forwards and trying to pursue the things that I'm after. So that's what the book is about, really. It's like a celebration of all of that. So I kind of want to dive into the process that led to me writing the book, and then the things that happened after that. But also, you know, the whole spirit of the book is trying to pursue things. You know, the way the book came about is very much me trying to pursue things and to see where it can go. This was a talk I originally gave at a venue called Spike Island in Bristol back in 2017. And I thought it'd be nice to go back through that and to sort of dig back into it and sort of look at the processes. But also it's nice looking back at where my life was in 2017 as well. So actually it is a little bit far behind. So back then I would have introduced myself as Gavin Strange, and that is still my name to this day. That's good. I still have the same handle as Jam Factory. That's still good. I still live and work right here in Bristol, except I don't live over there. That's the called Bedminster in Bristol, and I don't live there anymore. I live much further out of Bristol in a small village, because Bristol rent was stupid and we wanted to buy a house and we could never afford to do that, so we had to move far away to make that happen. So that's what we did. So true that I work in Bristol, obviously not at the moment. The Aardman Studios, which is my day job, is just actually not too far from that Arrow, and I still live and love working there, but physically I am working from this space. This is still my wife Jane. I am still married to Jane. We are still happily married, so that's all good. That's a truth. And we still have our baby Sullivan, but he doesn't look like this anymore. He is a bit more grown up than that. This is still one of my favourite photos of all time. This is Sully with his granddad, who's my dad. And Sully had the most epic hair when he was born. He was born with pretty much that amount of hair. He was a talk of the hospital when the day of his birth, because he just had these luscious, long, flowing locks, which is really sweet. So yes, we still have the Sully. So I've now progressed in my career since being at Aardman. So back then I was a senior designer for Aardman, but now I'm proud to say that I'm a a director and a designer for Aardman. So I jumped between the different roles of directing moving image, whether that's a short film or a commercial or whatever it may be, anything that is moving image really, between also doing graphic design, digital design, illustration, motion graphics, all sorts of different design-led work at Aardman. So it's really nice that I can look back in this as well and sort of see my career has progressed in those years as well. And you know, I still absolutely adore being a part of this team and being there and being a partner. Since then, Aardman is now employee owned as well, which is awesome. So we're all partners in the business, and we all, you know, want to push it forwards, you know, and take it into the future, which is really exciting. Just catching up on the chat. Normal Studio, oh, I'm so sorry that your internet isn't keeping up. Yes, you can definitely catch it afterwards. It will be on Twitch for 14 days, and then I normally upload to my YouTube channel as well. But thank you for trying to stop by, and hopefully you can catch it in a catch up. Have a nice night in the rest of Australia. Thanks for tuning by. Thanks for dropping by and dropping in. So yeah, but now I still am a designer and director going under the alias of Jam Factory as well. That is still very true. My passion for passion projects and just trying to do the things that no one would pay me to do. Essentially, that is always a driving force with the things that I do in my passion project time. But then, as this story sort of shows you, and also just kind of the book itself is about sort of putting yourself out there and developing your skills and honing your skills, and you know, you're only going to get better at it unless you put in the energy and the hours and the time and the commitment. And you know, my passion project time is like my proving ground for that, is for me to develop what I want to do next and where I want to go and things like that. So these were some examples that I would have been showing back in the day of 2017, from some graphic design illustration stuff, and all of these were for the thing on the left was for a rap crew that I love, that I just wanted to make. I adore Dream Tree, so I made a graphic. The graphic in the middle was a part of a piece of graphic design that I did for Shaun in the City, a big charity arts sculpture trail. And then the thing on the right was a poster and a piece of graphic design for my friends at Campus Pool, who turned an old unused swimming pool into a concrete skate park. So made some promo graphics for them as well. And then that just grows. Sometimes I experiment with political stuff on the left, sometimes I experiment with photo manipulation of my film photography and all of those other things, and sometimes it's just flat out illustration and iconography, just for lots of different reasons. I don't think any of those pieces were commissioned by anyone. No, they weren't. They were just because it's fun and I wanted to. And then back in 2017 as well, I was building my career as a director, doing more and more projects and things, and sometimes they were with Aardman, sometimes they were out of Aardman. It was just, I was just, you know, just love getting stuck in and learning and growing and getting better and trying to develop that. Photography is something that I've always just absolutely adored, and all of these things that I'm showing is what sort of culminated in the release of the book, and hopefully this kind of energy is in the book. That's kind of what I wanted to say in these pages of you've got to sort of have it in you know, got to source and find your own energy to sort of drive yourself forward to make things happen. And that's different for everyone. I express this as a excitable idiot on a Twitch stream, but you don't have to be an extrovert to you know, to show energy, to show passion. And you know, hopefully I'm just showing my way of going forwards in a creative career, trying to carve out a path that I love. But you know, hopefully just by everyone sharing their own paths, you know, other people can pick and choose what is relevant to them and pick something, you know, a technique or a style of something that might work for them. So that was the ethos of producing the book. You know, and so yeah, just photography. I just love capturing my friends and family and just because I love doing those things. In illustration and characters as well, just I've always enjoyed, I think, being surrounded by toys and characters and games, and seeing characters, and working at somewhere like Aardman that bring, characters are the medium to entertain people and delight people. I've always wanted my work to reflect that as well, so doing all sorts of different character things, but then also trying to make them exist in the real world as well. And so I really love making toys, and I've had different opportunities at different points in my creative career to do that in collaboration with different people, from droplet vinyl toys to a small little run of jam factories with another friend, to a custom thing, to a 4-foot tall droplet made by another friend. So just always on the lookout for those opportunities, and funnily enough, I'm working with a great group of people to possibly do something new in the toy world as well as a collaboration. So and I guess actually those opportunities won't come by you unless you put your things out there and you kind of state your intentions. I've talked about this a lot, that there's billions of people on the planet, and a lot of them all want the same opportunities as you. So you kind of have to stake your claim. You have to put out into the world what you want to do and what you're interested in. Not only what are you good at now, but also to sort of to just do everything and anything you can to open the doors to sort of let those opportunities come to you, gravitate towards you, because there's a lot of people grabbing them too. So you've got to do it. And so I think that was, for me, the passion project stuff under the name of Jam Factory was always the way that I would show the world, tell the world, this is what I like and I would love to do it more, please. And sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes it doesn't you just won't get those opportunities, and that's absolutely fine. But there's absolutely no harm in trying these things and getting these things out there. In the chat, Penelope Helen, thank you, Pen, says the off-title sequence is one of my favorite things. Thank you very much. And so this is just a more showing more examples of just when you lean into stuff and seeing where your work can take you. It can, so my love of toys and character designs got me involved in Gromit Unleashed, and then sort of just trying to be as big a part of that as I can. Grew into doing multiple sculptures with then Gromit and then Sean, and then being a part of helping to make giant ones as well. I can never plot one single path through my own creative career, and I don't think anyone can, because it's always a little bit meandering. It's always a little bit diverging. So it's nice. Looking back, it's actually really nice to look at your old work, or look at anything that you've done, and sort of you can start to see, okay, I was influencing myself here, and I was directing myself there. A few years ago, unfortunately this doesn't exist anymore, me and my wife Jane ran a brand called Strange that we did together. And we wanted to make and design and create beautiful homeware objects that we wanted to buy ourselves, and so we were trying to think of a name, and we decided that when Jane took my name and became Strange, so we became the Strange family, we kind of thought, well, actually Strange might be a cool name, because if you know us, it's our name, but if you don't, it's just strange. It's just weird, it's just strange. So it felt quite nice, and we poured our heart and soul into this. And when we got married, we asked for, instead of asking for any gifts, we said we don't want anything, but if you did want to give us something, maybe a little donation would help us start a business, because we explained that we wanted to start Strange. And so our first run of product was funded by the kind gifts from our families at our wedding. So that was like another nice connection with people. And the mascot, our icon, was a silhouette of our greyhound Arnie that we loved, that we sadly lost. So it's a shame that Strange sort of lived for a while, and then we decided to stop it, because it's just really, really hard to make a living from selling things, from selling objects. Manufacturing stuff is difficult. I think if you have money, if you have capital to begin with, it maybe becomes easier to fund more things and to grow. But when you don't, this was a passion project for both of us. Jane's a jewelry designer during the day, and I have my day job and passion projects. It's really hard to make things happen, but I'm so glad and grateful we did do it. It was it was really difficult, and we got frustrated, and we wanted to really build it, but we just had to be realistic and realize that we were fighting a bit of a losing battle. We couldn't grow more than we wanted to, and we couldn't create the things that we wanted to, and there wasn't any time soon that would change. And Jane became pregnant, and we knew we were planning a family, so we knew it wasn't going to get easier. So yeah, we had to make the difficult decision to stop it. But I'm really glad we did. It's not a failure, it was just something that didn't work. And that all transitions, that all feeds into the spirit of making this book, really. And having a book out in the world is just such a wonderful thing, and it's something that I never ever thought would be possible. I never even considered it. I love reading. I love all types of books, of course. And what a book sort of solidifies is it's very permanent. It exists in the world forever. It's not really a time-based thing. Of course, it's exciting when it comes out, but we discover books that are hundreds of years old and enjoy them just the same as you would if it came out today. That's a very special. It's a very special medium that can have that sort of rule applied to it. So that I always, held a book as in reverence, really. And so this is a story of how it came about. And this is a quote that's in the book that really applies to this whole process of opportunity does not knock. It presents itself when you beat down the door. I adore this quote. I really, really do. And it's absolutely true, because there are a lot of people wanting those opportunities. There are a lot of people that want to do the same things as you. So you've kind of got to be vocal. You've got to be active. Maybe vocal is not the right word. Again, I don't want to distinguish between everyone has to be banging on about their work all the time, but it's being active in a mode that suits you. I guess that's just active in doing, making, creating, and being motivated to make things happen. If you're just being idle, sitting idle, then those opportunities probably won't knock. It's about kind of trying to find where the door is and then beat it down. So this quote has always really resonated with me. And it all started at this place. This is the Hyatt's farm in Cardigan in West Wales, and they run a wonderful thing called the Do Lectures. So it's very hard to talk about the Do Lectures without sounding like it's a cult, because everyone talks about it so positively. It's really hard to not just effuse about how special it is. So they run this thing called the Do Lectures, and it's by the Hyatt. It's David and Claire Hyatt, who previously started Howie's, which you may know them from. They now run Hyatt Denim, and Do Lectures is one of their things. And also David Hyatt was also in the Behind the Mac campaign that came out last month as well, because David's awesome, and his daughter Stella took the photo that is of David on his Mac. Super cool. So they run the Do Lectures, and it is this, well, basically it's a curated list of speakers, but also a curated list of attendees. And the reason why they curate the attendees, and there's normally only maybe 40 or so attendees, it may be more now, I'm not quite sure. It's quite a small farm, so you can't have loads. But the whole reason that they curate not only the speakers but also the attendees is so you get a real diverse mix of conversations, of people, of backgrounds, and one really important thing that they do is they bring in magnificent chefs that serve amazing food. And so, for breakfast, lunch and dinner, this fantastic food is served, and everyone sits and eats outside. And so you just get in just the most sort of lovely organic conversations, because you're there, you're eating, everyone keeps going, oh my god, this food's amazing, oh my god, this food's amazing. That's kind of, everyone's just being really positive about that. But those natural conversations happen at lunchtimes, at dinner times, where kind of it's not networking. You're not given a name badge and forced to stand next to each other and you don't know what to say. You're generally eating your food and you're sitting across from somewhere and you say, hey, how are you? What do you do? How have you heard about this? Which is really cool. So those natural conversations help. And then the speakers themselves, it's called the Do Lectures because basically every speaker is a doer. That's kind of the common thread, and it is in all sorts of different disciplines around the world. But it's just they are selected for people that do things. Whether they, they've had people like Tim Berners-Lee, who invented the internet, which is pretty incredible. They've had Al Gore speak there. They've had speakers from all over the world, from all sorts of different backgrounds, with all sorts of different things that they do, but the common thread is that they do. It's a really exciting place to be. There's no speaker tags as well. There's no separation. There's none of that. It's a group of people assembled together to sort of discuss ideas, essentially around the campfire and over good food. But also, all of those talks are available for free online. So you pay to go to the event, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's a large sum of money for you to go. Again, you need to be sort of putting your application, so you're there. It's an experience in its own. And generally, everyone I know that's gone has just come away a changed person. And it was actually going to the Do lectures that started me and Jane starting Strange, because we were motivated. We wanted to see it. But they then give all the talks are available online for free for everyone. So straight away, that should be a link. Do go and follow the Do lectures so you can see. But it's just, that's the kind of way that the ecosystem evolved, basically. And so I had the privilege of speaking there twice, actually. I spoke at the Do lectures itself back in 2016, and then I came back in 2017 or 18 for the Teen Do series, which was organised by David Hyatt and Mark Shaler's children. They're not children anymore, they're adults, but they wanted to create their own version to inspire young people with what they're going to do in the future. And so I got to speak there as well. And it was just such a great experience. You give your talk in this beautiful old barn at this awesome podium that's a huge carved out log. It's just a really special experience. It's just a lovely space. It's sort of everything about it. You kind of can't leave. It's not like, oh, maybe I'll stay for a few speakers and then I'll pop up to Sainsbury's and get myself some lunch. You're in the middle of nowhere, so you are all together. Like I say, you eat and drink together, and there's all sorts of exercises as well. So people go for a run on Poppet Sands Beach in the morning, and all of this sort of magic stuff. It's like a camping holiday come inspirational, motivational weekend. It's a really special thing. So you're kind of all part of this network. But then there is another connection with this, that actually there is the Do Book Company. So the Do Book Company was started by Miranda, who came to the Do lectures one year and was so inspired by everything that she saw. She previously has worked in publishing for a very long time. She just has an infinite mountain of expertise, and she saw real potential in these speakers, in these stories, then being created, them being authors to tell their own Do tale. And so she had published a collection of books by speakers at the Do lectures under the imprint of the Do Book Company. Oh, and Penelope Helen says Michael Sheen did a talk too. I am in awe. Yes, he did. Amazing. I know, in such good company. When we were there, the special guest in one evening was Colin from Radiohead, talking about their creative process. Flipping amazing. So yeah, they get some amazing people spoken there. So I am insanely grateful that I got to go and speak in that year. So yeah, so there's a Do Book Company and there's a Do lectures. And when we were there, when I sort of on the final day, David Hyatt had just had a special version of his book called Do Purpose, created through Unbound, that was a hardback version, and he gave a copy of this book to each speaker. And I was really just over the moon, and I'm a big fan of David, and I think I just went, oh, thank you, David. I'm not cool at all in those circumstances, so I just sort of fawned and went, thank you, and took the book, and it was signed. And basically on the journey home, I read this book from cover to cover and absolutely loved it and felt really motivated and really inspired. But for the first time ever, I'd read a book that was written how I like to form my talks. And so by this point, I'd been doing talks for 10 years and developing, just developing my speaking style, I guess. Originally, it was always just about the work and I was talking about the work. But then over the years, I started sort of extrapolating the lessons I'd learned from creating those pieces of work and trying to figure out how could I be, what information could I give to be useful in a talk about, creative careers and then by extension, just a happy life in sort of by extension, I guess, really just trying to apply those those values that make your creative career and your career fruitful for you. Hopefully that just, obviously if you're happy in one area of your life, then it helps to become happier in others, as you sort of lighten the load and the emotional mental burden that you go under. So started developing my talks, and hence how I came to speak at the Do Lectures. So I then read Do Purpose cover to cover. I was so inspired. And then on the back of the book, well, in the back inside, there was Miranda's email address for the Do Book Company. And I just thought, with everything that I talk about of trying to put yourself out there and just making the universe making the universe listen to what you want to do. I just thought, I'm just gonna send an email and say I love the book, thank you, but also see if there's a possibility that I could write something, because I was so inspired by what I'd written, and because it for the first time ever, it made me think maybe I could write a book. How David's is written here, it just had it seemed achievable for the first time ever. So I just remember writing Miranda an email saying, hello, you didn't meet me, but I just spoke at the Do Lectures this year and absolutely loved it. I just got a copy of David's book, Do Purpose, and read it cover to cover, and I absolutely loved it. Maybe I could write a book for you too, maybe, I'm not sure. And Miranda kindly replied. She didn't think I was a total lunatic, and we started an email conversation, and I told her more about what I do, and I shared more about what I would love to write about in a book, and kind of my energy and all of those different things, and the conversation rolled on, and until she kindly says, yeah, I think you could write a book for us. It was like, no way, amazing. Oh my God, I've actually got to write a book. Oh my God, how am I going to write a book? Oh my God, how am I going to write a book? So I think it's actually amazing that Miranda is, like I say, an expert in publishing, yet she founded a company which publishes books by people who've never written books. That's bonkers. That is so cool. That has to be commended. The trust that she gives to authors is really something special, and it makes you stand up. And I've spoken about this in previous talks. When you're given trust by someone, you want to repay that in kind. You want to absolutely go for it. And so I had the opportunity. This was it. Oh my days, I'm going to write a book. How the hell do you write a book? And I tried and tried and tried. I tried and tried to write it in the evenings, which is where I would do my passion project time, and that was what I was used to. But in the evenings, late at night, after a day at work, the words just weren't coming. They just weren't flowing at all. I just felt like I was wading through mud, and I was really starting to panic. And it was then talking to a friend of mine called Finbar, who, funnily enough, Finbar Hawkins, whose debut novel is out next month. He's also a writer. He's a proper good writer. He's a novelist. He's a proper writer. He said, well, look, I do my writing in the morning. How, maybe try getting up before work and seeing how that does, because then, the house is quiet, no one else is up, there's no distractions, there's nothing to get distracted because the world hasn't woken up yet. Try it. I remember thinking, I'm not getting up early. What are you talking about? This was before we had Sullivan. No way. And I thought, okay, Finbar, I'll give it a shot. And he was totally true. And this is a screenshot from, 5 o'clock in the morning one morning, and it really started working. I started to get into a rhythm. I could carve out some time in my day to do it, and it started flowing and working. And I found that I had my sort of workflow down, and so I ended up writing everything in Ulysses, a great program that's just very, very simple. It's not a sort of script writing program or anything. It's just very simple, sort of markup, texty stuff. Dead simple, goes full screen. You don't need to see anything else. I use noisily.com, as basically as to warn off any distractions. It basically just plays gorgeous ambient soundscapes of like rain falling and thunder crackling, and it's just super mellow. And then these Bose QC25 noise cancelling earphones, those three things combined together just let me zone out a bit and let me fly into the words. And not to say that then having all these strings made it easy, not at all. It was all down to the awesome work of Miranda and the team, who I would give sort of rough drafts and would give a rough framework for kind of how I wanted to do. But in the Do Books experience, that the editing, there's so much to be said for an awesome editor that does exactly that, helps you shape things, helps you shape it in a way, in an objective way that will make sense. Because of course you're writing how you're in your own head, you can only write one way, but it takes that objective person to help you. So if you're writing things on your own, definitely get editors around you, definitely get other people to give you their feedback and opinion to, does it make sense, does it flow, does it build, does it have a sense of story, does it have a sense of progression? And so, as I would work on these different sections, these sections that I had outlined, Miranda would give feedback as to where they sit in chronological order. So how I sort of would gather the subject is I'd spent 10 years writing talks, and so I went back into these talks because I would often have these big bold statements that I would talk about and then back up with some information, with a story, and so I went back into all of that to find the stuff that really spoke to me, that I still believed in, that I found true, and then sort of had this massive brain dump of all these different ideas. And then seeing all of that laid out then gave me an idea to sort of expand on some of that stuff and just think, okay, that's an interesting seed of an idea. How about I expand on that? Because dealing with failure is much bigger than just one topic. We need to talk about the frameworks for failure. We need to talk about the emotions after failure. We need to talk about being brave enough to fail in the first place. These things can really grow quite a lot. So it was really nice sort of digging back through all of that and sort of fleshing it out, really bringing it to life with the help of Miranda. But before we go further, I think we need a little bit of a musical interlude, don't you? Yes. Silly, silly, silly little musical interlude. Anyway, let's crack on. So I've written a book. I've written a flipping book. Written an actual flipping book. And so this process went back and forth with Miranda, with the Do Book team, with their copy editors, and just was shaping until we got to a point where the words were done. But being a graphic designer and an illustrator, I wanted to do everything, and with the spirit of the book, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to just contribute and help and be useful and to be as involved as I could in this creative process. So I said to Miranda, because there's obviously a format for the books. All the books they have beautiful covers designed by James Victori, legendary graphic designer and teacher and author and awesome human being. So they all have those covers designed by that. So they have a framework, but I wanted to be involved in the design and to help. And so Miranda says, oh, actually, funnily enough, I have a friend of mine who is a graphic designer. He does all the graphic design for all the books. This is who we work with. He lives in Bristol. He's a guy called Wilf Whitty. I mean, how many Wilf Whittys in the world can there be? I said, I know a Wilf Whitty. I'm pretty sure it's the same one. And turns out it was a buddy of mine. I did not know that he did all the graphic design for a Do Book company, and the Spike Island offices where he has his office is about 30 seconds away from Oddman. So basically on lunch times, I would go over to Wilf's and we would just work on the design stuff together. He did all the awesome typesetting and layout, but we got to collaborate and bring the book to sort of life in a collaborative sense, which was awesome. So that was really great being a part of that design process as well. Obviously fitting within the framework of what already exists, but sort of just trying to bring it in, I guess, with the colours. There's hot magenta, pink and yellow in mine, which I'm super stoked on. But I wanted to do all of the additional stuff, the illustration as well, and so for each chapter, each section wanted to have some just iconography for each bit really, and this stuff just absolutely makes my heart sing. So I just basically just got to work in Adobe Illustrator, making these icons for all the different sections within the book, and to sort of try and convey quite a complex nuanced thing, but in a piece of iconography. So that was really nice as well. But then kind of just wanted to take it further really, and just be as involved as possible, and to it was kind of a way for me to hopefully give my thanks to Miranda and the team as well for taking that chance on me. I wanted to repay that trust, that that opportunity by being the best version of me, and sort of maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that, can I do this for you, can I do that, just when you get excited and you want to get involved. That was really nice. So because the book is called Do Fly, we used the whole metaphor of going on a journey, taking a plane ride throughout the book a lot. And so in the final pages we had these luggage tags sort of from different fictional airports, these different fictional sort of places that you've visited, of going to a new destination and graft and craft, and these were some of the statements within the book. So it was nice just to do that as well. And then just we would end up using these things as prints and posters and bookmarks as well, and just getting things out there. And even the codes at the bottom that are just meant to look like the random numbers the systematic numbers that are on luggage labels, they relate to the chapter, the page and the section within each book. So just trying to do as much as possible. But then the book needed photography as well, and it just felt like the whole spirit of this book is doing and making and kind of putting yourself out there. So it felt right that I wanted to do as much as possible, and so that included doing the photography as well. So the photography for all the different sections is all kind of relatively abstract. It just needed to evoke the mood really, and so I shot it all on film. I shot it all on my Leica M6. It's an object I absolutely adore, and just kind of felt right to be authentic with film and sort of the aesthetic of the Do Book company, and the Do Lectures as a wider group is very it's got texture and heart and warmth and charm, and so I wanted to reflect that in the photography as well. And so it was just nice shooting all of these different things, and sort of almost like not. I obviously wanted it to be a great image, but also, you know, if I was shooting this on digital, maybe I'd go, well, that only one bit of the motion blur is a bit too much, and it's not greatly, you know, that bird's in focus but the other one isn't. But it's not about that. It's kind of, it was nice freeing myself up a bit as well to be a little more arty about it, I guess, and to just to give in to those imperfections. And you know, it's you know, done is better than perfect, that awesome mantra of just, you know, put things out there and let it grow and evolve and change, rather than, you know, wanting everything to be perfect and never doing anything because you hold yourself back the whole time. So it was really nice going with that, and just shooting photos and just being a photographer as well. It was really lovely to do that aspect of, you know, to help with the design, do the illustration and do the photography as well, you know, be as useful as I could be and just be excitable. Also, please do, if there's any questions about any process, please do ask them in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer them. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. So when we knew that we were going to be launching the book, definitely wanted it to be, you know, to launch as well, to give it a launch. You know, this was such an exciting moment for me, something that I never thought possible. You know, I think it's really important to mark those things, even whether it's just on a personal note, but to, you know, to sort of celebrate yourself and celebrate what can happen when you put yourself out there. And so the fact that this book would be real and be released was just so mind-blowing. Wanted to celebrate that, and so ended up making a launch film in collaboration with my good friend Rob, who's just an awesome filmmaker. He's called Rob Anthill, Anthill Productions on Instagram. He's an awesome filmmaker, DOP, general all-round, amazing, good egg. Originally from the Midlands where I'm from, but he lives out in North America now and just travels the world doing awesome work. But he's a certified aerial camera operator, and I mean, now he shoots with massive octocopters and huge cameras, but back then we kind of did this guerrilla style of we were shooting, because it was for Do Fly, we shot this sort of top down overhead scene flying all over Bristol, where I then did some motion graphics over the top of it using the iconography that's in the first page of the book, which was a paper aeroplane for Do Fly. So we got up super early and cycled all around Bristol. I lent him one of my fixies, and so we were just bombing about Bristol on these fixies. Just, he had his camera and his drone in his bag, and I had all of my stuff, and we just went around the city just shooting all these different locations, knowing that we would then superimpose the paper aeroplane over the top. And it was just, you know, it was just great collaborating. It was really fun. I hadn't worked with Rob before. I'd always been a fan of his work and wanted any excuse to do stuff with him. And it was, you know, it was awesome. It was great, and it was just lovely seeing that view of Bristol as well. You know, seeing that view firsthand through the monitor of flying around Bristol. And typical, it wasn't very sunny or it wasn't particularly beautiful weather. You know, you get some amazing sunsets and stuff in Bristol when the light sort of dips behind all the stuff in the background there. But yeah, it was really nice to collaborate with him and make something and celebrate, I guess, you know, sort of celebrate. And then it was time to celebrate. It was, oh my god, we're actually going to launch it. So I got to take little promo photos. So I've got this, I haven't got it here, I think it's in the loft. You can see that pink jam factory. I've got a big jam factory that's about this big. And so I got some fake grass and we took some nice pictures of all of that. We made some special little golden pin badges for people who bought the book directly. And then we had a launch event. We had this lovely little launch event at an awesome location called The Forge in Bristol. And it's this gorgeous brick space that's used for all sorts of different people. You can hire it for many different things, but it's such a sort of beautiful space. And so yeah, we had a little launch party there where people could come along. That's Miranda there on the right, and that's Jane, my wife, and that's me in the middle, in case you don't know. We always wear caps. That's me there, that fella there, that idiot. And it was just lovely. We had this big vinyl graphic on the front there, and you know, just, oh man, just it was so overwhelming. I remember feeling really, really emotional that night because, you know, it was just so special. I'm just so thankful to, you know, for the Do Lectures for putting me, you know, giving me the opportunity to speak in the first place. To then Miranda for taking a risk on this lunatic who emailed her with way too many exclamation marks. And then, you know, for Jane, my wife, for supporting and encouraging me, going to bed very late, getting up very early to do this thing. You know, none of these people had reason to believe in me, but they did, because they're good people, they're kind people who see good in people, and that meant so much. And then to sort of, for it all to culminate in this night where we could go, oh, I made a book, you know, and for people to pick up a copy, that was so special. I'll never ever forget that. I do remember giving a speech at the top of the stairs and just wondering if I could get through it, because it was just so surreal, you know, just so surreal. And again, it all comes from a place of, you know, in the very beginnings of my career, before I really had a job, you know, and I've talked about this before, I wasn't the best. I was neither great, I was neither terrible. I was just mediocre and somewhere in the middle. So, you know, for me to have those beginnings of my career and not having many people expect much of me, to try and you know, the only way that I was going to change that is by making stuff, I guess, and sort of trying to silence the voice in your head that, you know, when you're in the framework of that, if you don't have support around you, of course, your brain then works against you and then says, well, yeah, there's a reason why people don't believe in you, because you shouldn't do anything, you know. So everyone has these inner battles, right, of trying to go forwards. And I think that's why people should celebrate, you know, you should celebrate your achievements. You should celebrate the small stuff as well, because life's too short not to. We absolutely don't know when that could be taken away from you. So, you know, on a bigger emotional note as well, I think you have to stop and be kind to yourself and celebrate when you've done something, and also, you know, celebrate when kind of it doesn't work because you tried it. You gave it a shot, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. So yeah, I think all those emotions were swirling around that night. Wicked Skinny in the chat says, part of that too had to be a moment of relaxation and realization after all the hard work put in. No better feeling. Absolutely, yeah. That, I guess it was just running on adrenaline from the start of, okay, let's write a book, to, oh my god, how am I going to write it, to all of those things are just shown, and then it's out. It's done. And that's a hard emotion to swallow sometimes as well, because you feel lost, don't you? You get used to running at 1,000 miles an hour. You get used to that speed and that tempo. So that, you know, adjusting back to what normal mode is, it also takes some work and energy as well. So yeah, but it was a lovely night. It was amazing. And then he was out there. And it continues to be out there, and that is what's so special about making anything, you know, writing a book or making a film or creating a piece of music. There's some types of mediums that just exist forever and will exist forever, and in people's memories as well. You know, if you can, fortunate enough to, I can't believe that people bought a copy. This is absolutely wonderful. And this is, of course, being a part of the awesome network of the Do Book Company. You know, I cannot shout them out and big them up enough. And as they have continued to grow, you know, they have diversified with all the different types of books, which are just wonderful. You know, the format is lovely. This pocket guide, you know, this pocket inspirational guide. So for me to sort of see things like this, and I have the Do Fly hashtag saved on my Instagram. So if any of you lovely lot in the chat have got a copy, please, I'd love to see sort of where you read it and how you read it, and you know, it's just awesome seeing this around the world, really. But then it's continued to go on. So Chronicle Books in America and North America, who I'm a big fan of because they publish all of the Pixar art books. That's how I knew who Chronicle were. They had a conversation with Miranda, and now they are the official publishers in North America of the Do Book, of a select Do Book titles, and mine is one of them. So and obviously Chronicle's reach is really, really big. They've got a great network of places, and just seeing it here on the Chronicle site was wonderful. It was super, super cool. I would love to see that in the States. It's even got a little fold out cover as well. So they kept the design, but they've sort of enhanced it with some extra bits, which is just beautiful. Jonathan Garvey in the chat says, you got me addicted to the Do Book Co's books. Yes, awesome, thank you very much. please do go and check them out. There's so much good stuff in there. And Jonathan, it's this you know what you're going to get, but you also don't. It's just it's in a format that's just going to resonate with you, this is what they've just cracked. I love it. I'm so proud. Wicked Skinny in the chat says, it's so easy when you're working hours by yourself to slip into doubt, wondering if you're doing the best job you can, whether you've taken on too much, whether you'll have an audience. But that's why surrounding yourself with love and positivity is key. Making things is a very raw and personal journey. Absolutely, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. And surrounding yourself with positivity and love is bang on. And hopefully this is what I want these streams to do. I'm trying to share my own personal experience, but we're all going through these different things. And seeing you lovely lot here in the chat and having those conversations and that dialogue, I think it's hard work being a human at times, more so than people often let on, I think. And I think, to open yourself up to just having that positivity and just, making a new friend and just getting that bit of support, God, no bad thing's going to come of that, is it? So yeah, you're absolutely right. The self-doubt and wondering if you have an audience is always a thing. And of course you then worry about it, but you've just got to try not to. My book, along with others, is out in the world as well. It's on Spotify, it's on Audible as well. So there's I think Audible has most of the do books, but Spotify has a few, and mine is one of them, which is Ace. So you can go and stream it now if you've got a Spotify account. So just getting it out there. And it even just ended up in French as well. So Pyramid is similar to how Chronicle works. Pyramid and French publishers have published some select titles of do books as well. So actually got it in French, which is awesome. I wish I could speak better French, mange tout, but I can't. It's just super cool. I never ever thought this would happen. I'm insanely grateful. It was an incredible process. I would love to do it again. I've built up more talks and sort of developed, and this gave me the confidence that to continue doing talks and to try and develop what I'm doing, really. So this has been an incredible process. And I want to end on this quote of Seneca: "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." I love this. There's a lot to be said for being lucky, and of course it's also nice to say, oh, I'm lucky, but also actually no, it is preparation. By you putting in the time and energy and effort to develop yourself, that means when an opportunity sort of passes you by, you're prepared for it, you're ready to take it. What we say is, look, if you truly weren't ready, if you truly weren't prepared, that opportunity wouldn't come to you anyway. You wouldn't gravitate towards it because it just wouldn't be right for you in whatever different circumstance. But the fact that an opportunity has presented itself and then you call it luck actually means that no, you've done your diligence, you've done your hard work, and you're ready for it, and be proud of yourself to do that. This is all tangled up in the complexities of human emotion and working out who you are and how you best respond to the world and stimulus, which is always ever changing as well. But it's just nice. I like this quote because it's a nice way of going, no, you celebrate you for being good, and I think that's a really, really important thing to do. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are bang on 2:00. Thank you to everyone for listening, for watching, for viewing, for typing in the chat. Huge love and support to the Do Book Company and the Do Lectures. Please do go and check them out on the internet. They do wonderful things. They are all over. Like I say, you can read them, you can stream them. They're just awesome human beings who are doing brilliant things, and I'm forever grateful for them giving me the opportunity, because I think it's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of the weekend. I'll be back hopefully next Tuesday doing some more stream stuff as always. Have a cracking weekend. Hope it's nice and sunny for you. Big love to Tour de France for posting the Do Book Co link in the chat. Please do go and check it out. You're all awesome. Thank you. Bye bye.